Hey everyone, welcome to Empower Team Monday Night Call. I'm Natalie Dolan. And tonight we're going to talk about time management and why time management skills may be one of those things that's really holding you back. And why it really separates the hobbyists from the professionals. But before we get kicked off, I do want to remind y'all about our 3-day challenge. Our 3-day challenge, we've been doing them every month, and there's a reason why. We all of the leaders on this team get together every month, plan out all of our events for the month, and we get feedback and we talk about what's working, what is really working for the people on this team. And month after month, the 3-day challenge group and selling people 3-day challenge boxes, the $20 happy feel good boxes, converts people into customers. The conversion rate is so high. So if you are somebody who isn't taking full advantage of our 3-day challenge groups and sending out, the wording that we provide and adding people into the group that we provide, then you are really missing out. All of my joins recently have been from the 3-day challenge box. People, they get the box into they get a beautiful box into their hands, and they try the products, and it comes in this beautiful package and has recipes, and the presentation's amazing, and they feel really good for 3 days, and then they want more. It is such a simple way to get more people loving these products, get more people feeling amazing. Okay. So please take advantage of that. Our group starts on next Monday, the 11th. That means you have, another 3-4 days, ideally getting people ordered by Wednesday or Thursday to get their products in time, to get into the group and participate with everyone that you're going to be tagging in the different posts every day that are scheduled to come up, and all of that. So that starts next week. And so I want to really challenge you guys to set aside some time to send out that wording to as many people as you can. Follow up with your people this way. Post about it. Really take advantage of that. Also, we have on Thursday, we are having a Y Plexus vision casting call. And this is our opportunity event. This is where you can come to learn how to cast vision to other people. This is a super crucial skill for building a team, casting the vision. So anyways, that call will be on Thursday at 8:30. And that is our Y Plexus vision casting call. Okay. So everybody that you've signed up over the past few months need to attend one of our Y Plexus calls. Everyone needs to attend. And every month we do it, and you have a opportunity to invite last month's joins to this one, or just prospects. Okay. So that is on the 7th. So I know the beginning of the month is, there's a lot going on at the beginning of the month. But it is a time to really be intentional with your time and setting yourself up for a successful month. Okay. So never neglect the first of the month. Okay. So those are kind of out of, those announcements are out of the way, and I want to dig into you guys about time management. Okay. So when it comes to being successful in Plexus, there are a lot of things that you'll hear us talk about. You'll hear us talk about the skill, the mindset, which is your mindset is 80% of this business, right? So 80% is mindset. 20% is skill set. So you're going to hear us when there's a problem, or you're on a coaching call or whatever, with your upline, the problems usually go back to mindset number 1 or skill set number 2, but there is a third component that we don't talk about as often as I think we should. And when somebody is having a problem, if it's not mindset or skill set, which most of those always come into play, but time management is a super big component of success in this business. If you're not planning your time and you're not planning your schedule and you're not making a plan, then you're probably just hoping to get lucky. You're treating this more like a hobby. You're not being professional. It's going to lead to overwhelm and burnout if you are not intentional. Okay. So I want to share with you guys practically what that looks like. Scheduling my time is not something that has ever come natural to me. Following a schedule, not being spontaneous, or that's never come natural to me. I'm not one of those people. I remember meeting Tova years ago and just being like, I want to learn from you, because it was such a struggle for me that I was so like drawn to those, skills. So coming into this, don't say I'm not an organized person. I'm not a person who likes structure like that. I don't like routine. I like spontaneity. I like flying by the seat of my pants. You don't have to be that person if you've always been that person. You can develop the skill of time management, and it's going to be absolutely crucial for your long-term success. So no matter where you're at in your business, what rank you're at, I would suggest starting on this skill now. So a couple things that I use that I want to talk to you guys about. Number one is I have been using Google Calendar. When I got connected with my assistant, they recommended, number one, that I start getting my whole life on a Google Calendar in a schedule, time blocked out. The thought of that was just like, that's not me. That sounds awful. That sounds horrible. I don't want that. But I was like, but I'm going to try it. Okay. So I'm always down. If somebody successful suggests that I do something, I'm always open to at least try it, right? See if it works. And that's what all of this is in this business. It's failing forward, trying it, not working. That, if it doesn't work, then it'll lead you to the next thing that will work. So number one, I highly recommend Google Calendar. It's such a good way to plug in your schedule, have it reoccurring. You can customize all of your days, and your phone will alert you, number one, which is super, super helpful when your phone alerts you, because we're working from our phones. But also if you have a smartwatch, a lot of the time I have an Apple Watch and I can link my Google Calendar to my watch, and it notifies me when I'm moving on to the next block, and it helps keep me on track so that I don't waste my day, so I don't get distracted, so I can, get everything that I need to get done. So this right here is what my Google Calendar looks like. This is my whole entire day planned out. And I made it look like a rainbow on purpose because I would like looking at it if it was colorful and cohesive in this way. But you guys, being able to see it all right here on my phone, it helps you to see, number one, where you're wasting time, number one, where you can squeeze in more time, and what you need to do to maximize your day and to ultimately have more freedom. The more you schedule, the more freedom you have, which sounds counterintuitive, but you will have the time that you want for the things you want if you plan it out, right? So time is like money. If you don't tell it where to go, it will disappear, right? We've all been there at the end of the day, like, what happened? Like, what, this day was so weird. It flew by. I didn't get anything done. It's because when you don't plan, you plan to fail. When you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? And that's just cold, hard facts. That's something that I, have to remind myself all the time, because I would naturally rather be spontaneous and go with the flow and work it out. But I'm telling you right now, it doesn't work. Okay. So number one, time block, right? Tell your time where to go so that it's not squandered. All right. This is what I do. I start off, when you're time blocking, start off by plugging in what you already know you do. I already know that I wake up at 6:30. I'm plugging that in. I know when I'm driving my kids to school, I plug that in. I know when I put them to bed, I plug that in. I know what time I want a dinner prep. I plug that in. And then I know what time I do my workout. So I schedule all of that in, and then you fill in the rest. And what I've found is that when you do this, a lot of the time we're like, oh, I'm so busy and I want to be with my family and I have these priorities or that obligation or activities or whatever it is. But what I've found is when you are able to see it all and you schedule it all in, you can schedule in that family time. I have quality time scheduled in with my family, so that I don't miss out on that, because that's important to me for wholehearted living. I want to include that, as well as my quiet time, as well as my workout time, as I have self-care scheduled in here, because we're not just robots. We need to take care of ourselves. And so when you're intentional, with all of this, you will have your work will be so much more enjoyable, because you won't be thinking about, when am I going to do it? When will I work it in? What am I going to do? You will have that time already set aside, which is really, really, it's really, really awesome to have that off of your chest, to know that that time is there and you will get to it when you get to it. Right. So if you are not I'm going to talk more about time block in a minute, but really quick, I want to hit on some other things. If you're not a Google phone person, some people don't like it. I love that I can be on my computer and my phone with it, and I always have it with me. But in the past, I've also done paper planners. Specifically, my favorite planners are the Plum paper planners, because you can customize it to your planning style. So I had this, I customized it. I filled in, my priorities, my to-do list, all of this, where I had space for my IPA, writing my people down in there. And so that's my favorite planner. If you have a favorite planner, please drop it in the chat for everyone. I feel like happy planners are good. Erin Condren. There is a way. So if you're going to carry around your planner and have it with you, then do that. Or try the Google Calendar method. When you are making your schedule and you are being professional, first of all, you're like honoring yourself when you do this, but you are treating this like a business, right? This is what business owners do. They have a schedule, they have work time scheduled in. Just know that when you're doing that, you're going to have trade-offs. Instead of watching 2 episodes of, your favorite show, maybe you and your husband can just watch one, and then you can do messages for 30 minutes while you sit next to him and he watches his episode. There are always going to be trade-offs. And that's why you need to be reminding yourself of why you're doing this, the freedom that you want, having your why in front of you so you can see why you are making these trade-offs, and why it's worth it. So like I said before, schedule in your family time. And be intentional. Schedule what you're going to do with your family time. Maybe you're going to play games with your kids today for 30 minutes. Maybe you're going to go outside and throw a ball around, whatever you're going to do. Tomorrow we're going to make cookies and during our after school quality time, and so schedule that in, right? That kind of intentionality will bring so much more fullness to your life. So when you are scheduling your work time, number one, this is important that you have all of these boundaries, because when you don't have boundaries, it leads to burnout and resentment of your business, right? And so that's why we're doing this, so that we are preventing overwhelm by having a schedule. So when you are breaking down in your schedule where you're going to work and where you're going to work it in, maybe you have to wake up earlier, maybe you have to stay asleep, maybe you have to stay awake longer at night. But I want to touch on the time breakdowns for, how much do I want to work? It could be different for everyone. Maybe you only have 2 hours. Maybe you have 2 hours daily and that's what you can do. Maybe you want to commit more than that and you want to really run with your business. Maybe you're in a season where you're in the middle of a move, so you can only squeeze in an hour a day, but whatever you can do, work it in. I do want to give you some breakdowns for high momentum, how many hours you should be working a day. For a high momentum time in your business, if you're going for a promotion. So if you're silver and you're going for senior silver, plan to work for 2 hours a day, 5 or 6 days a week. If you are like, it's promotion month and you're going for it, plan to work 2 hours. This includes planning. This includes content, responding to messages, posting, all of that. Senior silver to gold, plan on working 2 to 3 hours. Gold to senior gold, 2 to 3 hours a day. Senior gold to ruby, as you can see why time management keeps on getting more and more important the longer you're doing this business, right? Senior gold to ruby, 3 to 4 hours. How can you, that includes team calls, that includes prospect calls, sometimes when you look at it, it's like, oh my gosh, 4 hours, I'm at senior gold, I can't do that right now. But when you really look at it and you really start to break it down, you're spending that on, you're doing calls, you're doing messages, you're doing social media, it adds up. And so don't get freaked out by those kind of numbers. And these are like full momentum, promotion months, right? Senior ruby, trying to get to emerald, 4 hours, 4 to 7 hours a day, going from senior ruby to emerald, pushing that month, pushing hard, right? And so that's you're eventually working up to, this being a full-time situation. For me, I think that these numbers are a little high. But during a promotion month, that is more on the accurate side. Of course, it's all flexible. And when you're intentional with your time and really focused with your time, you can get a lot done in the time that you set aside. So make sure you're scheduling those hours in there appropriately. If you only have 30 minutes a day to work your business, then let your sponsor know so that you can have appropriate expectations for the results that you're going to get, right? The more you put into it is what you get out of this. Okay. Yes. So there is that breakdown that I wanted to touch on. When you are doing your IPA. So I have my blocks in there where I'm doing my IPA and that is my focus time. I'm not scrolling social media during that time. Ideally, I'm doing content planning at the beginning of the week and planning out some things I want to write about, planning out, finding some posts, finding some testimonies, planning that out in advance, or spending one day like batch loading all of that content. This kind of planning ahead is what sets apart the hobbyists from the professionals, right? So people who just want to get lucky and only want to post or whatever, it's almost like a glorified, lottery ticket, but it won't produce long-term results. And so when you're doing your IPA, 50% of that time that you have, if it's an hour, 50% of that time, you should set a 30-minute timer and hard focus on some recruiting, talking to people, replying to messages. Talking to people is what moves the needle in this business. Flat out, you have to be talking to people. If your mouth is closed, your business is closed. Okay. So that's number one. You always want to prioritize your own business. Number one. So if you have an hour that you're going to hammer out some work, 50% of that time, you make sure you set a 30-minute timer and you plow through that 30 minutes if that's what you have. Okay. 25% on responding to your team's questions, getting in your teams through a chat with her new join, setting up an event for a new person. That's 25% of the time, right? And then you're going to do the other 25% of the time, extra planning that you have to do, back office, looking in your back office, administrative stuff, customer care stuff. That is that last 25% of admin. When it comes to personal growth, do your personal growth in ways, if you can, do it when you can multitask it. I always listen to YouTube videos, books, podcasts while I'm getting ready for these calls, where I'm doing dinner, when I'm doing laundry, when I'm walking the dog, when I'm commuting. You can work it in, and it's a crucial non-negotiable part of your success. And if you don't plan it, it tends to not happen, and then you tend to not grow. This is all about growing into the person that you need to become in order to get where you need to go. You can't work your way out of needing personal growth. Thus, you have to plan it in, intentionally planning it in. Okay. So, that is, and so, work that in when you can. If you have to schedule in 15 minutes into your calendar to read the book club book, then do it. Figure it out. There is a solution to every problem. Okay. There is always a solution and a way to make it work, because I have seen just way too many people with way crazier schedules and more on their plate making it work with this kind of intentionality. When you're doing this, just like a forewarning, when you're doing all of this planning, allow for some error. Okay. Do not make this dramatic. There doesn't need to be any drama surrounding this. If you mess up a block, or you get distracted, or if you fall off, or if something comes up, or if you have to take a phone call, or if you have to, plans change, right? Oh, your kid is sick. You got to go drop what you're doing and go get them. There are things. So when you are planning this and you're in a block and maybe you mess up a block, what I want to say is, do not make it drama. Doesn't need to be any drama. You don't need to say, oh, I suck. Oh, forget it. I screwed it all up. No, these are just small sections. Okay. If you mess up one little block, it's fine. Go on to the next block. Do not let it slow you down. You can still win a ton of times in your day, even when you have a mess up. Okay. I do recommend planning your plexus work early. That way you get the most important thing done first. And then if anything else happens in your day, at least you did what moves the needle, right? That's why you prioritize your business. That's why you get your work done early if you can. If you have to wake up early, if you have to do something, you make it work, okay? But don't beat yourself up about it. Allow for error and just know that's gonna happen. And the drama surrounding that and the shame surrounding that will only slow you down. Yeah. I'm like, what else do I got? I'm like at the end of my notes. I feel like I do want to say, if you're doing your calendar and you find that, there's a lot going on here. I feel like I don't have the time. What I do want to ask is that you ask yourself, what can I delegate? What's something I can give up? Can my husband do the laundry pretty good? Can he pick up a load? Can I hire someone? I have somebody come clean. I pay for somebody to come clean my house twice a month, and it is worth every penny. The stress and the conflict and what it's done for my family, worth the money. Does she do the best job? Like, does she do as good of a job at everything that the exact way that I like to do it? No, she doesn't. But when you're delegating, if somebody can do it 80% as good as you need to let it go. That's what John Maxwell says. You need to delegate that to somebody else, because guess what? If you have to go back and do 20% of it, it's a whole heck of a lot better than doing 100% of it. Okay. This is just being wise with your time and making those sacrifices where you need to, getting a sitter sometimes if you need to, working it out. If you want to work, if you know your ideal business is in full momentum when you're working 4 hours a day to 3-4 hours a day, and maybe Mondays aren't a good day, then figure it out where if you can't do it on Monday, then you can disperse that time extra on a couple other days, right? There are solutions for everything. So with all that being said, I do feel like I'm forgetting something that I wanted to talk about, but I'm not seeing it on here. At the end of the day, just please be intentional. It's just like goal setting. You have to be intentional, write it down, have clarity surrounding it, know why you're doing it. And it will really, really take you to the next level. First of all, you'll take yourself more seriously, and others around you will take your business more seriously. And it'll have a compounding effect for the success of your business. So that's all I have to say about that. I will see y'all on our next team call. And yeah, thanks for hopping on, everyone. Send me screenshots of your calendars. Send me a picture in my DMs. I'd love to see it. All right. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you on the next call.